MCU fandom is in the cycle of constant "we are back" or "MCU is dead." After many failures and mediocre projects, a lot of people have left the wagon, which is seen in the box office numbers or in some TV show viewership ranks. I am one of these people, but still have hope that Kevin Feige will start reading these scripts before greenlighting them. Recently, Daredevil Season 4 was a mixed bag of two concepts, which we could easily notice just by watching these episodes. Luckily for us, the next season will avoid this because the better team is working on this now. So is Thunderbolts another attempt at redemption or just the same average McDonald's meal? After 4 years, we got a sequel to two productions released in 2021, which are Black Widow and The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Not the biggest hits of MCU, but they introduce some new characters who now are going to be in the next Avengers movies, Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. Also, the movie follows the previous story points of the big Marvel universe, such as what has happened to the Avengers Towers back in 2017 in Spider-Man Homecoming. Happy Hogan managed to move out from the tower because Tony sold it. That was 80 years ago, and 80 years from now, which would be 2033, we might not work at all because of AI. Anyways, there is also addressed what has been going on with the Avengers. And we know that they are gone, but are they? Okay, let's see what Marvel Studios has cooked for us. In MCU, Thunderbolts is a group of outcasts who get the name after a football team once Yelena was playing for, and it was delivered as a joke by Red Guardian. Well, I expected this was going to be some kind of conspiracy related to their president, especially when a couple months ago we got a movie about him, but we got this. Okay, fine, could be worse. So we have a group of not friends who obviously become friends when they are being forced to work together as a team to survive because they are tricked by Val. So Val is another generic boss. It's hard to see her as a villain because she operates in a gray area and she's smiling and she's kind to others. She isn't even cold or vicious. Yes, she works illegally and immorally, but the movie doesn't present her in a dark light. Van tried to create a superhuman to protect the world while the Avengers are absent, but the movie doesn't even show the horror of creating one. I can only imagine that and add further context in my imagination to make the plot work. This part is as thin as her, which makes me feel her character was wasted and doesn't define her as a big player in this universe, as they are pretending to be. Valve thinks that the project failed, and here the script starts to fail. Because it's mostly off screen, the government is trying to find any evidence because it seems illegal. Therefore, she needs to get rid of all evidence and the people who have been working on it as well. She decides to send them on their very last mission. Yelena, John Walker, Ghost, and Taskmaster. Alright, Taskmaster. If you don't care about spoilers, I will say it now. She was mind blowing. She says like one sentence, shows her ugly face, and gets headshot by Ghost. That's it. At least Kevin Feige understands he messed it up in 2021, so fix the problem quickly so we can move on to better parts of the movie. The movie tries to tell a story related to personal backstories of the characters, and these backstories are supposed to be sad, which is interesting. However, there are two problems. First, often the sad parts are killed by an unfunny joke. Second, I didn't feel any sadness by watching these characters because the script doesn't find any time to develop or add any important context to their sad backstories. I think sadness was better delivered in Guardian of the Galaxy Volume 3. So, as you know, in the team, each person has a darker past, and technically, they punch through the story, say something simple, and that's it. There's nothing deeper, and the entire mental health marketing is as deep as a paddle. The smartest thing that you can hear is, bro, you are not alone. The fact Marvel Studios is trying to sell it as a dark, sad, and serious movie is baffling. Maybe if you recently experienced something dramatic in your life, this movie could make you cry a little, because now you are in a different emotional state. Okay, so let's break the characters down. Elena, she lost her sister, feels empty inside, her life is full of tragic events because she's a Black Widow. They managed to show a simple flashback scene where, because of her, when she was little, another little girl died because it was some kind of trial in the Black Widow program. Obviously, it's sad, but does it make me sad? Let's be honest, they are killing a lot of soldiers in this movie. Should I feel sorry too? At least they should have shown these two girls as best friends or something. But in the final act, she doesn't even try to process the trauma because she decides to run away from it. If the writer worked on this more, it would make the story 10 times better. Ghost. Here is a villain from a movie you don't remember, Ant-Man 2, which came out 7 years ago. She has a cool power because she can walk through walls. Is it shown creatively? No. Do we learn anything about her past? No. But does she push this story in any significant way besides opening one gate? No. John Walker, a super soldier number one. He was Captain America in a Disney Plus show, and there is one good moment where Bob makes fun of him by calling him out for being rude. Something like, "You are such a jerk, you are Captain America," that is so ironic. But did this change anything in John's behavior? Not much. We saw in a flashback scene that John Walker is consumed by the fact he lost the job of Captain America and probably is now divorced. And that's it. There is also a scene that I hate where Ghost said to him that he had killed an innocent man. Yeah, sure, buddy. Terrorism is a sign of innocence because it happened in public, so the Punisher does. The difference between John and Frank is that Frank doesn't seek validation, but still both men are heroes. So come on with this shit. Red Guardian is super soldier number 2, who is a drunk uncle with a cringe Russian accent. I mean, he's a father, but you see the point. I feel like I saw this type of humor dozens of times, and in my opinion, his only good joke was in the post-credit scene. Him and Yelena have a moment where he tries to cheer her up because she's upset. He says how he loves her and she's not alone, and mentions how she was so kind when she was a little girl. Yeah, just say kind words and depression is gone. Bucky, a super soldier number 3 who appeared in one of the first MCU movies. The actor has a lot of awards, therefore it must be the best character in the movie, right? No. Go kill it! One of the most valuable heroes is just there to fight and say something irrelevant. Like, come on, he has the darkest past of the entire group combined. He was the Winter Soldier, he was brainwashed, he lost a lot and nothing was brought back in a useful manner. He could share his experience with the team, support them, or even be a mentor. It would have been so much better if whoever wrote this movie used Bucky's potential to skyrocket the story. Every single character's backstory could benefit from it. I wish that had been the case. Bob, also known as the Sentry. Personally, I find him as the most interesting character in the movie. He is a mysterious man who appeared out of nowhere. Nobody knows who he actually is. I don't want to get into a spoiler section. It's really exciting though. I will be really careful. The moment when we discover how powerful Bob is proves that Bob is extremely depressed because he was ready to sacrifice his life to save Yelena, John, and Ghost, even if he knew them for like 15 minutes, and also shows he has a good heart. Later, the Sentry gets a suit and his hair is dyed blonde. In my opinion, he looks really good. The guy is really powerful. He's as strong as Superman. He moves incredibly fast. He can also use telekinesis, and we have a chance to see him in the Avengers Doomsday. So he will probably fight someone on his level of power, because here in Thunderbolts movie he controls his powers to not accidentally kill someone, but still defeats his opponents really quickly, which was fun to watch. The actor plays really well, he is standing out in the cast. It's disappointing that the movie doesn't try to show us any creative fights at all. Do you remember Black Widow in Iron Man 2? The corridor scene where she fights 10 guys? She moves like a spider. She is fast. She jumps on their necks. You know, some martial arts. She kicks them in the head because, as we all know, legs are the strongest parts of a human body. She also uses her spy gadgets to take advantage quickly. And there is Yelena, a small woman who punches and shoots. I would like to see her fighting like a Black Widow. Furthermore, I want to mention that the cinematography looks really good. Finally, I wasn't disgusted by an ugly CGI. I'm glad they are giving their VFX department more time to work now. I hope it's not just one time. I think that the Thunderbolts movie is a mixed bag of good and bad things. I appreciate the attempt of creating something more serious this time. It looks like a right step forward to the quality we know from the previous saga. I'm not saying pre-Endgame movies are flawless, but the quality is overall better because we saw the passion, love, and creativity. And while watching Thunderbolts, I feel that try to be like old MCU. Since the journey we followed was engaging, we now recognize a lot of callbacks, Easter eggs, and often compare these new characters to the old ones. And see how these new characters need to work a lot to be good as well. Marvel Studios had an excellent foundation to build on, more great stories, but now the only foundation left is relying on nostalgia and the next MCU movies, and I wish they could focus on more stories like Thunderbolts, but with better character arcs and without destroying serious moments by telling stupid TikTok jokes for 6-year-old children while the entire room full of 20, 30, or 40-year-old men is dead silent. Kevin Feige, please remember that a lot of the fans who were watching Iron Man movies or even the OG cartoons are now married and have children. Try to deliver more mature jokes instead of screaming cucumber 60 times. Keep working more with the heroes' arcs because that's why MCU was successful in the first place.